What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Tuesday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault at Sports Talk Matt. To follow me across all socials, and this podcast being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com. You guys need to go to OmahaSteaks.com. Take advantage of these phenomenal savings, 50% off site-wide going on right now at OmahaSteaks.com. Maybe you have a little extra money in your pocket thanks to a 2-0 night last night. Maybe you want to go spend it at OmahaSteaks.com. Get yourself some great food for Labor Day weekend, which is rapidly approaching. You probably have to rush ship it to get it there, but you might be able to get it there in time for Saturday or Sunday for a good cookout on Labor Day weekend. We're all going to kind of grab one last little hurrah for summertime before we all head into the fall, into football in September. OmahaSteaks.com, juice in the search bar, activates all the savings, 50% off site-wide at OmahaSteaks.com. Like I mentioned, a 2-0 night last night. We'll take it. Man, that Red Sox, whoo boy. 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. We finally get the team total to cash. Red Sox, more on them here in just 1 second. Time for the Boston Red Sox pitching staff. This is not good, and the Astros are hot. Their bats are hot, and the Red Sox are in deep trouble tonight against a team that is, well, trying to end their season, to be quite honest. So more on them here in just 1 second. I got a couple things to say here at the top, and then I'll give you 2 baseball plays and 1 NFL future. The NFL future is what I want to talk about here quickly because somebody was on the Discord channel. And look, I'm not trying to single this person out. I don't want anyone to go at this person, but they brought up an interesting point that I think is worth addressing before we head to football season. This person, to paraphrase, said, Matt, I don't like futures. I just want picks, everyday picks. Here's the thing. I love that you think that this podcast is yours, and I love that you have ownership and you feel some level of, that you have a right to say that. But I don't care. I don't mean to be rude about that, but if you don't want to bet the future, don't bet the future. It's kind of easy. I will bet futures before every single major season. College football and the NFL right now is when you primarily look to bet futures. Now, some pros bet it back in May. I'm not going to have you guys bet things in May, but as I expand here and as I get more in touch with what I like to bet and as I get further and further into this podcast, look, I bet the UMass game last night, almost a week out, okay? That, I guess, technically would be a future. That number is down to 35 and crashing. Let's see how low that UMass at Auburn goes. It could get down to 33. We're at 7 touchdowns right now, so not that 35 is a key number, but kind of is a key number. We'll see if it goes below 35. But I appreciate the help, if you will. But just a reminder as we go, this podcast is what I am betting, and what you do with the information is entirely your own. If you don't like betting futures, then don't bet futures. It's that easy. So I fast forward through that part. Okay, I appreciate you listening or watching. Thank you. That's awesome. I really do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel if you haven't yet, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts and say, Matt, I hate futures. Okay, I'm okay with that. Not everybody does. Just to let you know, just because you don't like futures doesn't mean other people don't like futures. And you have to understand something. I'm oftentimes, like tonight on this podcast future I'm going to give you guys, I'm taking a position that I hope to be able to work off of later in the year. I'll explain that in a little bit. So futures aren't really predictions. Futures are to take a position that you can then work off of later in the year. If you remember, we did that with Creighton, right? We had Creighton to win the national championship. Creighton was in the Elite Eight. What did we do? We bet San Diego State. Why? Because we had Creighton to win it all on a big 25-1 or 30-1 ticket. So you just get your money back or you make some money, okay? So just a heads up on that. As we do that, just so you guys know, I love all of you, and I love the passion you guys have for this podcast, and it's definitely football season because when people are complaining about what I'm betting, when I'm winning, I know it's football season. Like, come on, man, give me a bet that I like. It's not how this works, okay? You're not going to like everything I play. You're not going to like when I lose. But when I win, come on, bro. Not the time to be arguing about what my bets should be. Just take the 2-0, bet it or don't bet it, fade or follow it, do whatever you want with it. But there's going to be another future here in just 1 second, just to give you a heads up. I also, by the way, will run through my college football futures because I am way more into college football futures than I am NFL futures, which is probably not a bad idea because I think the NFL futures are really hard to hit. But I do have another NFL future to give. I'll have two going into the season. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 college football futures that we've already laid for this coming season. So we're getting more committed to college football, which I'm fine with from a futures standpoint than for the NFL. But let's take a look at the NFL and the Daily Juice NFL Picks Contest. We're adding about 15 to 20 entries every single night, which is good. So September the 10th now is the deadline for this. It is a $50 pick contest, straight up 7 games a week that we're going to pick for the Splash Sports Daily Juice NFL Picks Contest. $50, you could win the first place prize of $4,500. We're paying out the top 25 spots all the way down to 25th place. How do you enter? Log on to bettingpros.com/pick. Fill out the Splash Sports entry form. See if it's legal in your state. If it is, deposit $50, enter the Daily Juice NFL Picks Contest, and away we go. Okay? This is going to be fun. We're going to track this every week. I'm going to tell you who's on the leaderboard, how people are doing. 18 picks. I've been telling you more and more different rules. Here's another rule, okay, right off the actual page from Splash Sports. If 2 or more entrants end up with the same score or position, they will share the payout amount for the position they tied. For instance, if the 2 entrants tie for first place, they will each receive half of the first place payout along with the second place payout amount. The prize will be divided equally among all tied participants. Just so you know, if you tie for this thing, you get first and second combined. So that's $4,500 plus $3,375. Add it up, cut it in half. Guess what? By my math, that's pretty darn good, right? So it's about what, $4,000 about or so? So take it for $50. It's not bad. BettingPros.com/pick to enter into the Daily Juice NFL Pick Contest with Splash Sports. 110 entries so far. We need 500 is the goal to fill this up for a prize pool of $22,500. So good stuff there. If you can't come to Vegas to enter into the very cool pick contest, which, by the way, I'm running a practice service. So if you're coming to Vegas over Labor Day, hit me up and we'll get you taken care of from a proxy service perspective. But if you can't do that, this is a cool way of being involved with 7 straight up bets every single week in the NFL for the Daily Juice NFL Pick Contest alongside Splash Sports. Okay, let's talk about that future. The Baltimore Ravens are 11-1. DraftKings has this bet. 11-1 to win the AFC. Now let's just talk about this for a second, okay? So we've got 3 teams everyone's going to talk about. Bengals, Bills, and the Chiefs. Okay, right? Who are they going to play? Which one of those? Now, they could play each other. That's possible, okay? But what if the Ravens win the division or the Ravens win a wild card? What if the Ravens are really good this year? Their win total is 10.5. What happens if they win 11 games? They're 11-6. Could that win the division? Absolutely. Okay. If they win the division, they have a home playoff game. Home playoff game. And you can say, Matt, why don't you just bet them to win the division? You can do that. It's plus 235. Okay, it's a good bet. Go ahead. I'm taking a position. 11-1 for them to win the AFC gives me a chance to play off of it as long as they get to the AFC Championship game. Now, could they get a bye? Sure. Their schedule is tough because of the division. But outside of the division, they have games against the Colts, games against the Texans, games against the Cardinals, games against the Rams. I mean, those are 4 wins. Almost guaranteed. Now, they're playing at the Bengals. That's going to be hard. At the Steelers, that's going to be hard. 3 of their first 5 games are on the road. That's going to be hard. Titans and the Lions go to Baltimore. Seahawks go to Baltimore. They go to the Chargers. Tough road trip. They go to Jacksonville and to San Francisco. Tough road trips. They play on Christmas night, Monday night, December 25th, at San Francisco. Tough game. They end the year, Jags, Niners, Dolphins, Steelers. really hard games. But they're loaded. Their secondary is loaded. Their offensive line is loaded. Baltimore has had a top 10 scoring defense 18 times in the last 24 years. Baltimore is a defense that has ranked in the top 10 over in total defense 13 times during that stretch. This is a team that is one of the top at limiting points scored each and every year. Roquan Smith coming in here, and they've got him to lead this defense. And now you've got this offense with weapons. We know about Mark Andrews. I think Zay Flowers could be an absolute stud coming out of Boston College. Odell Beckham could have a resurgency. We could have J.K. Dobbins be a really good running back and finally live up to the hype of him coming out of Ohio State. And then you have Lamar Jackson. If he stays healthy, Lamar Jackson could have a monster year throwing the football. Huge. Now, I get it. You've got a new offensive coordinator who comes over from Georgia who no one's really in love with, okay? Monken has been an interesting argument saying, okay, Georgia's great, but they have the best players, so how much was that him? I get it, okay? Let's see what happens. But you got a great offensive line to work with, and you got Lamar Jackson to run the football, and the contract distraction is gone. I think Lamar returns to MVP type status. I think the Ravens have a really good chance of making the Super Bowl, but I think they have a really good chance of making the AFC. I've already made this projection. Ravens, Jaguars, AFC Championship game. Everyone thinks I'm nuts. Mark it down. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm totally crazy. But I think this could be a topsy-turvy year in the AFC with new teams and new blood playing at the top of the conference. It's been a 3-team race for a while. Let's see if it continues to be that. I will take the Jaguars myself to win the AFC. You guys don't have to do that. I won't make you suffer through that. But I will say officially the Baltimore Ravens at 11-1 is a good bet. Now, I told you last night that I bet more than one unit on a lot of these. This is not more than one unit. This is a 1-unit bet, okay? It's 11-1. I don't need to commit more than 1 unit. This is just a 1-unit play. Officially, 1 unit. The Ravens to win the AFC, to make the Super Bowl here in Las Vegas. Again, a position we can play off of as long as they make the game. They make the game, the team they're going to play is maybe a minus 170 favorite, 150 favorite. Maybe they're even dogs. Maybe the Ravens are going to be favored, okay? We can come in, bet 5 units, knowing what we've got coming back if the Ravens make the AFC Championship game. It's a similar bet to Michigan, okay? It's a very similar bet. So the 2 NFL futures we've got going right now, we've got over 8.5 wins at minus 140 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we have the Ravens to win the AFC Championship at 11-1. Our college football futures, and I'm done with college football futures. Penn State over 9.5 wins at minus 130. Michigan to win the national championship at 9-1. Texas +7 against Alabama. That's a future kind of. It's week 2. Drake May over 3,150.5 passing yards this season. South Carolina over 6 wins. That's Iowa State under 5 wins. And LSU over 9.5 wins. That's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Although 6 really, because that Texas is not really. That's a weekly bet. So it's a future kind of, but not really. So it's really futures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 futures in college football. 2 futures in the NFL. Maybe I'll have one more NFL future. Maybe, but those are the 2 I like a lot here with the Ravens to win the AFC and over 8.5 wins on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, let's stay in Baltimore. My friend Kevin down at Circus Sports listens to the podcast. I appreciate him. Huge Baltimore guy. We talk Baltimore whenever we go there. So he's going to like the Ravens bet. He'll like this bet as well. We've got the Orioles who won 9-0 yesterday against the White Sox. The Orioles, they are hot offensively, all right? 9-0. They lost to the Rockies 4-3, but they beat the Rockies 5-4, 5-4. They beat the Blue Jays 5-3, 7-0. Lost 6-3. Swept the A's 9-4, 7-2, 12-1. Look, I mean, the White Sox are just not a very good baseball team, okay? Chicago is struggling on a lot of levels, and now they have Jesse Scholtens going up against Dean Kramer. Kramer's 12-5. Jesse is 1-6, 4.31 ERA, 4.15. it's not really Shilton's fault, to be quite honest, as to what's happened, but this team has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, and he's lost on the run line in 3 of those 4 losses. 8-5 loss to Oakland at home, where he gave up 5 earned runs in his last outing, 3 home runs. Against Colorado, 11-5. He went 3 innings, gave up 5 earned runs. Against Milwaukee, 3-2 loss, 6 1/3, gave up 3 earned runs. Beat Cleveland 5-3, and then lost to Texas on the road 2-0. His last 3 road starts, are 2-1 record, but not good. 5 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 1 earned run against Texas, a 2-0 loss, though, lost on the run line. So not great. Splits for Jesse, not great. His ERA in August is 5.33. He's 0-3 on the year with a 2.52 opposing batting average. In July, he gave up an opposing batting average of 4.04. Not good. Okay? Not good at all. Shut out last night, the White Sox. The Orioles are a team that they're scoring, doing a good job. Dean Kramer going on the other side, 12-5 with a poor 4.31 ERA. At home, a 4.72 ERA, not great, but he's 7-2 on the year at home, 246 opposing batting average, and he's been good of late. No earned runs given up at home against Toronto in 6 innings, a 7-0 win. He lost to San Diego, but before that snapped a 7-game winning streak for Dean Kramer. And Kramer, I would say his name wrong, Kramer. And over that 6-game win streak, all but 1 or 2 was on the run line. So when he went 7 game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 game, 5-2 on the run line. So he's technically 6-3 over his last 9 games on the run line. Orioles run line -105 to win by more than 1 run over the White Sox here tonight at home at Camden Yards. Just don't think the White Sox have got really much going right now. I mean, they're not a very good baseball team. They're kind of playing out the string here, and this Orioles team needs the wins. White Sox are 24-43 on the road. Orioles are 41-25 at home. 9-0 win yesterday. Let's repeat it again. Orioles run line at -105. And finally, Brian Bellows going for the Red Sox. The Red Sox bullpen is just a disaster. An absolute disaster. They need Brian Bello to go 9 innings. They may not go to the pen. I don't know how many runs Brian Bello will be forced to give up tonight, but there really is like nobody for the Red Sox to go to. It is actually shocking. Now, the Red Sox beat Houston with Bello on the mound 17-1 in Houston in his last start. At home, Brian Bello has a 3.41 ERA, is 4-5 with an opposing batting average of 255, 25 earned in 66 innings worth of work. But Boston got embarrassed last night. A game that was close, that was a 4-3 game. And was it 5-4? 4-3 game turned into a 13-5 butt kicking at the hands of the Astros. Altuve hit for the cycle. Crushed the Red Sox 13-5. They're now 69-63, and they are leaking oil in a major way at the moment, and there's no bullpen help really for this team. It is just bad. When you look at the number of the pitchers the Red Sox ran out there, it's actually kind of stunning given that Boston, they're technically in a playoff chase, but they had to go out there and throw just complete Kyle Barraclaw, Bear Claw, as he's being nicknamed, walked back-to-back batters to open up the 6th. Altuve hit it deep off the monster, and then it was just all an onslaught on this guy, and they put up run after run after run, and they left him out there because they had no one else to go to. On the game, Bear Claw, 4 1/3, 10 earned runs given up. 10 runs, 10 earned for this poor kid. Red Sox bullpen just is absolutely exhausted. It's still exhausted. 10, the total, over. Red Sox, Astros, they just put 17 runs up against the Astros in the last start for Brian Bello. And look, I'm not saying that they're going to do it again to JP France, but they crushed JP France in Houston. They clearly see the kid well. He may be running out of gas a little bit. He may be tired. I think the Red Sox score. I think Brian Bello is going to give up some runs here. Maybe not, he's given up 4-1, 4-1-1. But the Red Sox, I think they're going to score. I don't mind Red Sox on the run line. I'm just going to bet the over 10, given the fact that if Brian Bello comes out of the game, Red Sox bullpen might get just gashed again by Houston. Total is 10, over -110, over Red Sox and the Astros at Fenway Park here tonight. Okay? 3 bets for you guys here on a Tuesday. We're going Ravens to win the AFC at 11-1. Orioles run line at -105. Red Sox, Astros over 10 at -110. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on socials at Sports Talk Matt each and every morning. The Daily Juice Podcast is being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.